So I finally got around watching a new Mortal Kombat film. I was a big fan of the first one, and I actually did not hate Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I know a lot of people hated that movie, and I'm not saying it was a good movie, but to me it was so bad it was good. Now, the storyline in this movie is basically the same in every Mortal Kombat movie. Okay, even though this is the third Mortal Kombat film, it's kind of a prequel. It's a prequel. This is like what happens before the tournament actually begins. Okay, but it is not a prequel to those other two films. Okay, it's basically starting off its own trilogy of films. So basically, the basic storyline is this: Shao Kahn is going around conquering different realms. Okay, the Elder Gods have forced him into this type of tournament system where he just can't go over there and attack these other realms. He has to win a certain amount of tournaments before he can evade. So he has to win one more. Okay. Now, the movie starts in 17th century Japan. Okay. Lin Kuei assassins led by Bi-Han kill the warriors of the rival Shirai Ryu ninja clan led by Hanzo Asashi, including Hanzo's wife and son. Hanzo kills the attackers before being killed by Bi-Han, resulting in his soul being condemned to the Netherrealm. Then Raiden, God of Thunder, arrives and takes Hanzo's surviving infant daughter to safety. Then after that, the movie opens up with Cole Young, Turner, whatever the heck his name was. Okay. He's basically a MMA fighter. Yeah, Cole Young is his cruddy name. He's basically an MMA fighter who goes and fights these clubs and gets into these fights. He fights for money. He's a guy that can call in, just come in there and fight at the last minute, whatever. He don't care. He gets beat up. He's actually not a bad fighter, but he just can't finish because he uses bad strategy or whatever. You see him getting scoped out by Jax. All right. Jax knows there's something special about him. So, apparently Sub-Zero is also tracking this dude. Sub-Zero tries to kill him and his family. Jax intervenes and gets wrecked by Sub-Zero. Okay. From there, Cole Young finds Sonya. She explains to him the Dragon Mark and how they all get their abilities. They have to fight in this Mortal Kombat tournament. He meets Kano, and then it pretty much goes from there. You know, they get into little fights, little battles. They meet Raiden, all that good stuff. Okay. So let me give you my pros and cons of this movie. First of all, the movie has pretty good special effects. It's nothing mind-blowing. But I wouldn't say the effects are actually better than the first two Mortal Kombat films. Yeah, the effects are definitely an improvement. All right. Goro looks pretty good. The special moves that they use are pretty good. Everything looks pretty nice in the film. All the special attacks, the weapons, all that looks good. I think they did a good job with the special effects. The fighting was solid. The moves they used was decent. Wasn't bad fighting. I love the scene with Scorpion and Sub-Zero were very good. That was a real good fight scene at the beginning. Both of those characters have good screen presence. Whenever they're on the screen, they both those actors have very good screen presence. All right. And it really makes the film every time either one of them or both of them is on the screen together. Cole Young didn't bother me as much as I thought he would bother me. Okay. He actually was a decent character. He was supposed to be the point of view character for the audience. I wasn't crazy about his inclusion. He didn't exist in the video games. He wasn't that bad, man. I actually liked the actor. I actually liked the actor who played him. So he didn't really bother me. He was okay. He was decent. There's potential for his character. Okay. They got a good cast of characters here. I loved Kung Lao in the movie. The guy they got playing Shang Tsung seemed like he has potential. Okay. I loved Kano. The guy who played Kano did an excellent job. Of course, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. The guy who played Jax, he actually did a pretty good job. I was actually hoping originally that they would get Michael J. White to play Jax. But the dude who played Jax, he did a pretty good job. And I kind of like the lady who played Sonya. So yeah. Oh, and the Melina character. I was a little leery about Melina because honestly, in none of the games is she a black chick. But I will say I liked this lady. I liked the way she played Melina. You know, I think she did a pretty solid job of playing Melina. Who else was in the movie? Cabal. Cabal looked really cool in the movie. His costume, his voice was excellent. Okay. Yeah, it was pretty good, man. I think they did a solid job with a lot of elements. I like the thing with the whole mark thing, okay? That you got these people who have these powers, and if I kill you, I get your powers. That's actually a cool element, and I wouldn't be shocked if in the future they take that and incorporate it in one of the games. Like it may not function exactly like the way it does in the movie. Maybe it'll be some type of extra special power that the regular fighters don't have. But don't be shocked if you see that concept turn up in a Mortal Kombat game. I like that. I like that concept a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff to like in this movie, I think. I think it was a pretty much solid movie. It wasn't a bad movie. I think they're definitely in the right direction. It seemed like they took a lot of care to incorporate certain elements of the characters, like Liu Kang, Kung Lao, all these different characters. Like Kung Lao, how they have him using his hat throwing it as a boomerang. That was pretty cool. I think he actually deflects somebody's weapon somebody throws at him. So it's pretty cool. They actually tried to take a lot of elements from the game. I like how Kano has his eye laser that he has in the game. And you just, when you get these powers, either you have them already or you kill somebody to take them. You have to develop them, okay? There's a trigger. Everybody has their own trigger. Like Kano gets angry, and that's his trigger. Cole Young, his family is in jeopardy. That's his trigger. So I kind of like that. You have to have something special to trigger that. There's a lot of stuff I liked in this movie. A lot of stuff I liked about the movie. Now, there were some things I did not like about the movie. Okay. The fighting is cool, but it does not last any time. I mean, here you got a movie that's supposed to be a fighting movie, and the fighting scenes don't last any time to me. I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled for watching all those old kung fu movies as a kid, but I like watching movies with long fighting scenes, okay? I know what you're saying, or it might not be realistic, but we already got a movie with, a dude with 6 arms and, all kind of other crazy stuff. I like long fights, man. By the time I was getting into some of these fights, they was over. The fight with Jax and General Raiko. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that character. I don't think he's been in any games since Mortal Kombat 4. Maybe Armageddon. But I liked him in this movie. I liked the way he looked, and I would have liked to have seen that fight scene go on longer. But it didn't last. A lot of the fight scenes in this movie don't last any time. When you just start getting into them, they done. Kano and Sonya had this real cool, brutal fight at the end. It was cool. It wasn't really much like technique or special or actually cool moves. It was just them beating the crap out of each other, slamming each other into crap, to walls and ceilings, and that was cool. But it was over too soon. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe somebody could tell them in the next movie, make the fighting scenes last longer. Man, if you get me a Mortal Kombat movie with a whack storyline, just a ton of cold fight. I can ignore that. Because a lot of them all them old martial arts movies back in the day, the movies didn't have no deep storyline, man. It was just some people fighting. Okay? But that was the biggest failing in this movie. Also, I like that they put the fatalities in this movie. And there's a number of fatalities in here. But they honestly didn't really add. I don't know, it's odd. I like seeing them, but they really didn't add anything to me. It was like, oh, cool. Jack smashes somebody's head. His character, Kano, tears out somebody's heart. It was cool that they put that in there. I respect the director in the studio for doing that. But I don't know, it just wasn't a big deal. It didn't really add that much to the movie to me. Okay. The problem was the actual fights leading up to those fatalities were unsatisfying. Like Natara. You got this really super cool looking character with wings. I'm like, okay, wow. They really gonna use her. They're gonna do something cold with her. She gets wrecked. Kung Lao wrecks her in a few minutes, okay? He does this cool fatality on her, but the fight leading up to him killing her didn't last any time. So it was unsatisfying, in my opinion. That was my biggest grief with the movie. My biggest beef, sorry. Beef or grief, either one works here. But also, man, while all the actors looked cool, I felt like some of them wasn't really, they had some like real low energy performances. I loved Raiden in the original movie. Okay. He was charismatic in my opinion. I loved Shang Tsung in the original movie. The way he said his lines, "Your soul is mine. It has begun." Man, this dude here, he looked cool. He just didn't bring no energy to the role. Honestly, most of them didn't really bring a lot of energy to the role. Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kano, and to me, to some extent, Sonya and Jax. But the rest of the cast, they just didn't really. They weren't bringing it, man. Or maybe it's because the way their characters are written. I don't know. And that dude who plays Liu Kang, man, I'm sorry. Get this dude a sandwich, man. I remember the guy who played Liu Kang in the other two movies. He was kind of swole a little bit, man. He was kind of muscular, kind of swole. Maybe I need to go back and watch the movies. Okay? He looked like a kind of swole Asian dude, like he'll wreck you. You know what I'm saying? This dude, man, looked like he ain't had no sandwich in a long time. Like I hope he take his money and go buy some food, man. Go eat a couple of cheeseburgers, man. Put on some weight, dude. I'm sorry, man. Dude just look like a straight stick. Also, man, you got these cool looking characters. You really didn't do anything. I mean, like, okay, Sub-Zero, man, they love Sub-Zero. Dude got his moments to shine in that movie. And he was he probably was the coolest character in the movie. I love the way they used him. But, like, come on, dude. Melina, General Raiko, Cabal, they didn't really get to do anything. Okay? Natara, she got to do jack. She just came on the screen to get bodied. That's it. I would have loved at least one scene where you saw them in Outworld going on a mission and just like beating some people up. And Shang Tsung saying, yeah, this is the team I want, or something. I mean, you got these actors with these cool costumes on, and they don't get to do jack. Like, yeah, man, get him something. I wish they had gave those other characters something to do. Goro was cool in this movie. But again, the fight with Goro, between Goro and Cole Young, it was just too friggin' short. It was too short of a fight. It was a nice fight, but it was very short in my opinion. And I would like to have seen more of Goro. I don't know, man. Also, now, Cole Young. He wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be. But I still didn't love him. He still seemed like an unnecessary character. He honestly seemed like he was playing Johnny Cage role in this movie. He seems like an unnecessary, unneeded character that did not need to be there. Okay, like basically Cole Young, man, is the Scrappy Doo of the Mortal Kombat universe. You heard me. He's like Scrappy Doo. Okay. They somewhat kept him under check. He didn't get too irritating. Okay. But I hope in the next movie he don't become even worse. But he's the scrappy dude of Mortal Kombat. Okay. He just did not need to be here, man. They could have let dude. Matter of fact, could have let dude play Johnny Cage, or you know what, done something. I don't know, just something else. I don't know, man. He just was a character that didn't need to be here. And also, what irritated me once he got his powers, which was actually kind of cool. He had this chest armor that could deflect energy weapons and like protect him against blunt attacks, which was cool. And he had these Tonfa type weapons with blades. He could cut people. That was kind of cool. But like all of a sudden, nobody's going after his feet or his head. Hey, let's punch this dude in his chest. Let's go for all the different areas where we know he can block it at. Attack this dude in his feet. Come on. So at the end of the movie, Scorpion shows back up. They beat up Sub-Zero. That's the highlight of the movie. This movie is basically is like the prequel to the oncoming tournament. So the tournament doesn't start yet. So Shang Tsung, he shows back up and like teleports away his defeated warriors and says that even in death, they serve me or some crap like that. So I'm assuming he's going to bring some of them back. I mean, it's pretty much, that we know that Sub-Zero's going to come back as no Cybot. Okay. I don't really know about the other characters like Goro. Maybe he'll come back as Kentaro or something. Like Melina and some of the other Cabal. I don't know what they're going to do with them. I assume that all of them are not coming back for the next movie. And it's kind of a shame because, like General Raiko, they wasted that dude. He seemed like an interesting character. They wasted him. They wasted Melina. They wasted Cabal, also, in my opinion. Natara was wasted. And I know all of them are not going to come back. I don't know. I wish they could have done a little bit better with them. Gave them some type of parts or something before they got wrecked. Okay. So, the movie ends with Raiden saying, hey, he comes in, tells Shang Tsung, get your butt out of here. He sends him back to the nether realm or whatever, or Outworld. He sends him back to Outworld. And he says, hey, now we're going to go out here and we're going to search for new fighters, So basically, man, this movie is not as good as I hoped, but not as bad as I feared, okay? It's not a horrible movie. I know some people, it's so bad, it's so garbage, and they mention certain dumb things the characters do, like Jax, in the beginning of the movie, staying alone, stopping the car when they're driving away, go out there and fight Sub-Zero. It's like, well, why don't you just stay in the car and keep trying to get away? Like, make him actually do something, okay? Make him actually do something like freeze the road and knock you out of the car. And then, you even have Cole Young saying, hey, let's both go fight him at once, which, would have made sense. But anyway, it goes. Jax getting wrecked was stupid, okay? But here's the thing, man. This movie, I didn't come into a Mortal Kombat movie expecting a world-class film, okay? I expected cool-looking characters, fatalities, and some good fighting, okay? And then to utilize the characters. Unfortunately, I got the cool-looking characters. I got fatalities. I didn't really get great fighting. I had maybe 2 good fights, and the rest of them was over so soon that I couldn't enjoy them, me personally. And they did not utilize all the cool characters, all right? So that was my biggest problem. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I feel like it was a step in the right direction. It did give me hope for the next movie that they'll improve on certain elements of it. At the end, you find out they're going to go find Johnny Cage, which is cool. Okay. But you got to give people more fighting, man. More bang for the buck. And a martial arts movie has to have more martial arts. Okay. And the biggest strength of Mortal Kombat is your characters. When you have people like Melina, who doesn't get to do anything, Raiko, who doesn't get to do anything, Cabal, who doesn't get to do anything. You got all these cool characters on here who are being underutilized. You know, I don't know, man. Hopefully in the next movie, they'll make it a little bit longer. Not only make the fights in the movie should have been like 2 to 3 times longer, in my opinion. Yeah. 3 times longer would be perfect, all right? But also make the movie longer so you can give the other characters more parts. And I guess they didn't have the biggest budget, okay? But I would love to have seen some of the supporting villains actually get to do something, actually get more time, flesh out their characters a little bit more. That would have made the movie way more interesting to me. And that was the biggest letdown of the movie to me, was the short fights and the fact that I didn't really get to see as much as these cool looking villains, because they may look cool. You made them look really cool, like Natara. I would love to have seen Natara do more, get into at least 2 fights before she got rocked. Okay, so I mean, just my thoughts, man. Like I said, not a horrible movie like some people have said. Not as good as I hoped, not as bad as I feared. It does give me hope that the next picture will take what this movie did good and improve it, and look at some of the bad stuff, some stuff that can be improved, and actually take a step forward, you know. But just my thoughts.